And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Tuesday morning's flying weather showing a lot of IFR here in the west from the north slope here, right on down, all the way down to the eastern Aleutians, improving out to the west with some VFR over the central Bering Sea, moving into ADAC, shimmy in that too. IFR up over the northeast interior, and another zone here along the North Gulf Coast, maybe into the Copper River Basin and down into the Gulf of Alaska. Marginal for Kodiak Island, VFR, Susitna Valley into the Kuskokwim Valley to a point there, call it the Western Alaska Range, and VFR over the southern panhandle. For the afternoon, VFR, most of, not the entire southeast coast, and IFR, Copper River Basin and areas. Staying VFR here, Susitna Valley, Knik Arm, Cook Inlet and Turnagain Arm, all the way down into northeast Bristol Bay. Some marginal VFR into the Manusca Valley, especially off to the east. Big area of IFR here, southwest flow carrying that moisture right in and eastward here to the Yukon Flats just about, and still extending down to the eastern Aleutians. And then for the morning hours on Wednesday, huge area IFR here, North Slope, Arctic coast, into the central interior there, down into areas west of the Alaska Range, covering the northern Bering Sea, southeast Bering Sea, to the western Alaska Peninsula, and again the Fox Islands, Pribilofs included, as well as Nunivak Island, marginal VFR for the Aleutians and the Bering Sea out here, southeast coast, VFR all the way up to Yakutat and then toward the Wrangell Mountains. Then for the afternoon, just some hit and miss areas of IFR over the interior, otherwise VFR, right on down into the Kenai Peninsula, Cook Inlet area, picking up marginal VFR, southern Cook Inlet, Kamishak, Kachemak Bays, IFR, most of Kodiak Island, marginal for Shelikof Strait, and southwest part of the state, marginal VFR, Seward Peninsula included, North Slope, marginal, Bering Sea and Aleutians, marginal VFR, and some marginal VFR now right up along the southeast coast, but the inside waters looking pretty good. Anatuvik and Anigan, expect IFR flying conditions at some point in the day. Tuesday, Lake Clark and Merrill, VFR, but rainy, could be a little marginal at times for Tuesday, as well as windy. And Isabel, possible marginal VFR for Isabel and Mentasta. Tanita as well, especially on the eastern entrance here, marginal VFR, trend toward better conditions off to the west. And Portage, marginal VFR if possible, just possible IFR in the eastern entrance. That's where the lowest flying conditions would be on the Passage Canal side, Whittier area, as opposed to Portage. And then for Chilkoot and White, VFR, freezing levels 2,000 to 4,000 feet here, sliding right up into the southern interior areas, and about 6,000 feet there for Kodiak Island, and anywhere from 2,000 to 8,000 feet down across the southeast coast, and roughly around 2,000 feet there for the Aleutians, maybe 3,000 for the Aleutians, Bering Sea mostly 2,000 feet, sloping down to about the surface there toward the Bering Strait. Icing, these areas, couple of batches here of possible isolated moderate rime icing, moving east-northeastward and southwest flow there. Some of that trailing down in toward the Yukon River here, mid-Yukon River Valley areas, and then more icing out here with the next system pushing into the western Aleutians, maybe almost making it to ADAC in the afternoon, and yet another area of possible, mostly light icing here for the North Gulf Coast, Prince William Sound, down in toward the Barren Islands area. And the jet stream here showing southwest flow, 60 to 75 knots there, actually from the northern Bering Sea, right up across St. Lawrence Island, Seward Peninsula areas, in across the Brooks Range, and 60 to 80 knot winds around that low coming into the western Aleutians, 3,000 feet, high pressure here across southern Alaska, and light winds out over much of the Bering Sea. We've got some 40 to 50 knot winds, mostly to the south of the Aleutians. Tomorrow, the strongest winds definitely south of the Aleutians there, and 30 knot southwest winds, St. Lawrence Island right up into the Kobuk Valley, the western Brooks Range, and pretty light for the Panhandle and the Gulf. And at 3,000 feet, 45 knot east-southeast winds clipping Sitkinak Island, southern Kodiak Island actually, and then lightening up as you head west here. Definitely lighter high pressure, light winds over the interior and light winds for the southeast coast. And looking at 50 knot winds there on the backside of that low, but that's south of Shimian too. Turbulence-wise, could be a little bumpy out here in the west, maybe some moderate turbulence there from Kiska Island to Attu Island, and increasing turbulence toward Adak, but nothing too serious there. And possible moderate turbulence there for southern Kodiak, Sitkinak, Trinity Island areas there. And that's about it, pretty smooth elsewhere around the state.